Hello everybody, TestTube Gamer back again with another gameplay commentary for Tyto, one of the assassins in Gigantic. I really like Tyto. I've been learning... The two classes I've been focused on the most are assassins and the range champions. Those are the ones that appeal to me the most. I tried some of the tanks. I don't know if she's particularly a tank, but I guess you can build her tanky. Ashlyn. Little Scottish girl. I really like her. She's an interesting character, but I couldn't make her work. I didn't really get that many games in on her, but wasn't for me. Not really digging the playstyle. Now Tyto, I love everything there is about Tyto. I like his damage is difficult to land, or it might be a her. I guess there's some kind of discourse about it might be a girl, it might be a dude. I think it's a dude though, but oh well. Anyway, his damage is a little bit difficult to land and it bleeds, so he's countered by if they have cleanses and things like that, he's completely countered because all of his damage, not all of it, but a good amount of his damage is damage over time. And so, and it's also dictated by if you land that ability right there that I just missed. You have to dodge and then perform a auto attack, and then it lunges forward and bleeds them. And it does a good amount of damage, like a really good amount of damage. And then if you couple that with his Q, which is the spin, I don't know why, it just seems to make it crit every single time, and you do something crazy like 700 damage, which is about half, or a little bit less than half of most people's health pools. Really powerful, really fun. And really, like, that's what I like. I don't like easy mode characters, and that brings me to my next point, which is Trip. Trip is another assassin with stealth and all this other stuff, and lots of CC. She has Unseen Strike. It's like once you go into stealth, you can spec into it where your first auto will lock them down. And then she has her Q, which is a slide, which will knock them into the air and stuff like that, and it does a lot of damage. And then if you miss all that stuff, just hold down her mouse 1 button and you do a lot of damage that way too. Like, I don't know, man. I don't think she's overpowered. She's just so boring. Like, it's too easy. Like, I don't feel like I'm being tested in any way when I play her. Not that you win every single match, because she's not overpowered, and her main weakness is verticality. So if you can get higher than her when she attacks you on any point on any map, she can't really chase you down effectively. So all she'll probably try to blow her combo. All you gotta do is dodge out of that as best you can. If you see her coming, just immediately jump up to a higher location, and then she's, and you can bait her. It's really easy to bait her. Like, all you have to do is jump down on any one of these maps. She'll follow. Most trips are really bad, especially at my level, and so they'll come down with you, and then you just jump right back up with like a launch pad or something like that. Or in Tyto's case, his RMB that launches you, that can reach high places if you time it correctly. So anyway, do enjoy the characters. I really do love Tyto. I've been trying other ranged champions. Let's see, Imani, this sniper that I was talking about the other day. Really strong. I will say that I can't win with her. There was something going on. I'm not entirely sure, but I got maybe, I don't know, 10 matches in a row on Ghost Reef, the Grand Canyon map or whatever. It's the canyon. I hate that map. It's too small. I don't really like, I don't know, I just don't like the skirmishes don't seem to flow very well. And then you're heavily punished if your team wipes at all at any point. The map is so teeny tiny that they can, really do some damage to your minions and stuff. I just don't like it. I'm not fond of it, really. And then, how do I word this? I guess it's dictated by the better team, like, whoever has the better team is gonna win, which should be the case, but I like being able to play around. Like, if I know a good player's on the opposing team, then I will try to attack objectives they're not covering, and then try to single out weaker players on their team. You can't do that in the Reef, or at least it's very difficult. I think I'm not very experienced, I'm still learning, but very, very difficult to pull that off consistently. Anyway, let's see. So Imani drives me insane because nobody seems to think she's strong or overpowered. I don't think she's overpowered because I'm not as good with her as like maybe a professional sniper, someone that actually does sniping in all the games they play. She does tremendous damage, like amazing damage. If you spec into her fast attack, I don't know what it's called, the quick scope damage or whatever, oh my god, it's like 250 damage every second. It's really fast. And then if you couple that with her Q, which is the extra added damage, you can either spec into a slow, which makes it ridiculously easy to hit your next shot, or you can do increased burn time. I think she's brokenly strong. I think she's way too strong. And I suck, and I thought it was just ridiculously easy to hit all the targets. So, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't win very many matches with her because I kept getting Ghost Reef, which is such a small map. And it's actually a good map to snipe on, but I don't know, my team was not helping too much. Like, I don't know, pushing objectives on that map is a nightmare. You get penalized so hard for getting caught out, and I didn't know her that well, so I don't know the escape routes and stuff like that. I've been putting in time with Tyto to learn, how to escape effectively, and at this level people are really bad at punishing you anyway, and you get so many opportunities to get away with him, and then his RMB gives you extra stamina, so if you fuck up you can just use that and then get more stamina and run away even more. Really strong kit. One of the things that I've noticed is that there's almost no incentive to go in with your Guardian for the attack if you manage to do enough damage. Meaning, like, if you got 100 power and they're at like 20 or 30 or something, your Guardian will do enough damage so that you can pretty much hang back and just stay alive and not worry about it. Here's how it works. If you die during the vulnerable stages where your Guardian has the other Guardian pinned down, it doesn't count towards anything. It does give the Guardian more shield, and I think it like limits your time and takes away from the build-up or whatever. So one of the strats that people tend to do is they just completely ignore the attack phase, and they just stay back. If it's a slaughter, they'll all go in, because why not? But if it's a close match or anything like that, people play really safe and just let their Guardian do all the work. And then, and that's interesting to have different strategies and stuff like that, but I also think it's a little bit too effective. You're never forced to go in to do damage with your Guardian. I think that's a mistake. I think that needs to be part of the game. I don't know how much it would slow the game down if the Guardians didn't do any damage to each other, but there needs to be something that they need to work out, because, I don't know, it gets really stale. With the way people play, it gets really stale where they just reset to 0 every time, right? Like, they let the Guardian do the damage, and then as soon as, the clash starts or whatever, as long as they have map control, they don't care what happens to the Guardian. They're just going to keep winning team fights. And I get that. That's a good strategy, but I don't know. I don't feel like that's what the game was intended to be. I feel like the idea is that they really want you to strike the heart of the enemy Guardian and cause the damage. And the auto wound is kind of the problem here. Like, it makes it too easy. It makes it too easy to stay back and just maintain your lead. And, if you're in the lead and you're never forced to do anything risky, why would you ever lose the lead, right? If it's two even teams that are both really good, I mean, how do you overcome that? So, I don't know. They need to think of something, and I would love for people to bring up discussion on the Reddit and stuff like that if that ever happens, but you don't ever see that too often. A lot of joke posts on Reddit, which is funny, but I don't know. I like to see more discussion and stuff like that. I'm always into the numbers of things. That's why I've been trying to bring up Voden, my favorite character in the game, and people think he's fine like wine. It's really frustrating because he is not fine. I love him. I think he's a really great character, but he is not even remotely strong. Maybe in a competitive environment where everybody knows exactly what they're doing, but in these shit shows that I'm being a part of, oh my god, like, you can throw down your healing, whatever it's called, the healing pool, and people just walk away from it immediately. They could not care less that you have that healing pool, because on the base level, it doesn't do very much. It doesn't heal very much. It doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't have anything to it. And then when you spec into it, it does. It does a good amount of healing, but people are so conditioned to because the base of it does so little. No one is gonna sit in that thing during a team fight. It's like you would die. You can DPS through it so easily. There's no reason to ever sit through it. I don't know. It's just I've been trying to get people to at least talk about it. And, you know, some people have certain things to say, and they have rationalities like, he's not a healer, and it's like, well then why does he have a heal? Like, that's so stupid. Soldier 76 is not a healer. He has a heal in that game, in Overwatch, and it's tremendous. It's like a really, really, really strong heal. Not enough to be the sole healer of a team, but very, very, very potent, and like can heal up the entire team for a push if it had to. If it had to, it could. And then definitely during combat, it's enough to keep you going. That's one of the things you have to work around during a match for Soldier. If he gets the high ground, you're not going to get him off there unless you devote 2 or 3 people to that character. So, and I don't feel like that's the case for Voden at all. I feel like he's very, very weak in a 1v1 scenario. His shots are very, very difficult to aim because they're not hit scan. They don't even do a lot of damage. I can't believe they summoned a dragon, by the way. From everything I've read, the dragons are almost completely useless. They do good damage, but they don't really offer a whole lot, and then their damage is somewhat easy to avoid. So you almost always want to go with Cerberus that tells you where people are, or the Troll, because it has a knock-up and stuff like that. Or not Troll, the Cyclops. I think he's a troll, but whatever. Anyway, you want to go with those two things. They offer way more utility other than just damage. Now, the one thing is that the dragon is very hard to kill. So if they devote, you know, people to kill it, it has to be almost the whole team. It can't just be one dude soloing it. It'd be very difficult. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. I like bringing up things about, I don't want a nerf this or buff this discussion. I just want kits to make sense, and right now I feel like Voden's kit does not make sense. Half of it wants you to be on the front lines dealing damage, you know, and being in that ass, and the other part of it is an escape, get out of there, fire from long range only. And it's like, well, it's not very cohesive. His damage is not high enough to consistently deal. I ran out of stamina here. This was a really bad play by me. This guy chases me for a long time. I think he eventually kills me. But anyway, Voden is really, really strong at certain things and really weak at other things. And I guess they keep saying he's a jack of all trades character. In my games and all the matches I've played, he is the hardest character to carry with, and maybe if you're a god at the game, you know, you can make him work, but I've always hated that as a unit of measure. So like, by that logic, if you're a master at Voden, right, and you can make him work no matter what, that's the same logic as Trip is a noob stomper. So she, like, okay, in high-level play, she can't do anything, right? She's considered weaker by most of the people because they know how to deal with her. In low-tier play, she runs rampant. And I think it's the opposite in Voden's case. In high-tier play, he's really, really strong, this, that, and the other. And then in low-tier play, he's just ignorable. You can just ignore his damage, basically. Especially if your team is dive-heavy. There's no... I don't know. The way I see it is I have like 30 to 50, whatever that is called. There's a statistic in the game that shows you how effective you're being, efficiency or something. I don't really know what it means. But it's always like 30 to 50, and everybody else on my team is always like 3 or 5. So I must be doing something right, but we lose those matches handily. Like, we lose pushes handily. And the contagion spell keeps people from healing up. That's really, really powerful. But you lose almost all kill potential with it. It's very dependent on your team being any good, right? Like if your team sucks dong, then you're not gonna get those kills. You'll keep them off points, and you can win team fights over a long enough time. But if they're dive heavy, you'll lose 3 or 4 people. Oh yeah, he ulted and I jumped over it. That was funny. But anyway, I don't know. I gotta get off this subject because I probably sound like I'm whining way too much. I just feel like Voden is by far my favorite character, and I hate to see him in a state where, yeah, he's all right, he's good, he doesn't need. And it's like, well, I don't want an all right character. I want really good characters. Like I don't think Beckett is alright. I think she's amazing. I don't think HK is alright. I think he's ridiculous. I think he's super duper strong. Amani, I would argue, is probably broken in the right hands. I don't feel like Voden is broken in the right hands. I feel like he's very, very good in the right hands, but that's not what I want. I want a character to be on the same level as everyone else in anyone's hands, right? Like, I don't know how to word it, because you don't want everyone to be boring and the same, you know? But he's not different enough to where it matters. Like, I made a thread, why would you ever take Voden over Imani? And, I don't know, people disagree, I guess. Which, I can't imagine why. You can pump out so much damage as Imani. You can keep people pinned down with Imani. And then, by the time they catch you, you can, I don't know. It's ridiculous. And then Voden, you can chase Voden out of a fight, and then he's just worthless. Like, from a distance, he just doesn't deal the damage. Which don't focus Voden. Focus everybody else on his team. I think he's ignorable, to be honest. But anyway, that's it for this one, guys. See you in the next one.